What makes a man truly dangerous? Is it weapons, technique, or something more primitive and deadly? Imagine a human predator standing 6'5" and weighing 250 pounds of pure lethal force. A man who, according to confidential military reports, managed to stop a bullet with his own chest. John Wick needs an arsenal to be lethal. Jack Reacher is the arsenal. Who would win in a direct confrontation? The most feared assassin of the underworld or the ex-military man with almost superhuman anatomy? The answer might surprise you. Jack Reacher. A name that echoes through American military corridors like a legend. Born on a military base in Berlin, son of Stan Reacher, a United States Marine, and Josephine Moutier Reacher, a French woman who met his father during World War II. In the Amazon Prime TV series, portrayed by Alan Ritchson, Reacher appears to be between 35–40 years old, although the chronology is different in Lee Child's original books. This is one of several adaptations made for the television version of the character, maintaining his essence but updating some elements for today's audience. Here begins something peculiar in Reacher's history. His DNA is a perfect mixture to create a born fighter. His father's American military training combined with the French resilience of his mother, who lived through the horrors of war. Growing up as a military child meant constant moving the military bases in the United States, Philippines, Japan, and Europe. This nomadic childhood forged his ability to adapt and detach. Today, Reacher owns no home, doesn't drive, and carries only the essentials in his pockets, a toothbrush and documents. But what few know is how his mother Josephine shaped his morality. She gave him the French family medal from World War II, always reminding him, never reject your strength, use it to do what's right. This phrase echoes in every decision Reacher makes. Together with his older brother Joe, 2 years his senior and gifted with extraordinary intelligence, Reacher learned from an early age to confront bullies. In Okinawa, at age 12, he already demonstrated what he would become when he attacked a group of aggressors with a baseball, causing permanent facial damage. Joe took the blame for his younger brother, showing the strong bond between them. After school, Reacher went to West Point Military Academy, graduating at the top of his class, a feat demonstrating not just his physical strength, but his exceptional strategic capability. Extraordinary military career. Reacher's military career wasn't just remarkable, it was legendary. Serving in the military police, he quickly stood out for his unique combination of brute force and tactical intelligence. At his post near Baghdad, we see the first demonstration of Reacher's moral complexity. Seeing local children being mistreated, he didn't hesitate to intimidate the aggressors. When these men tried to ambush him in his tent, Reacher eliminated them with lethal efficiency, an incident skillfully covered up by military intelligence. In Kandahar, his physical resistance bordered on superhuman. After a bomb explosion, Reacher saved 12 soldiers, carrying them 2 at a time out of the danger area. Even after inhaling toxic smoke and with shrapnel in his jaw, he returned to active duty just 32 hours after surgery, a recovery that left military doctors perplexed. Recognition of his extraordinary abilities led the army to place him at the head of the 110th Special Investigation Unit, an elite unit of the military police. This wasn't an ordinary unit. Reacher had carte blanche to choose his members, and they solved more than 100 complex cases that no one else could solve. After retiring from the army, Reacher adopted a nomadic lifestyle reflecting his childhood, traveling across the country he swore to protect, now as a lone vigilante, intervening when someone needs help. It's as if the world were his barracks, and each city a new unofficial mission. Superhuman Anatomy. Now, let's get to what really differentiates Jack Reacher from any other action hero: his extraordinary anatomy. Let's start with the basics. Reacher stands 6'5" and weighs approximately 250 pounds. Almost all of that weight is solid muscle. For comparison, this puts him at the same size level as UFC heavyweight fighters, but with much superior conditioning levels. But the real mystery begins with his pectoral muscles. In the third novel of the series, Tripwire, Reacher survives a direct shot to the chest that should have been fatal. The surgeon who examined him was astonished to discover that the bullet couldn't penetrate his pectoral muscle. It's important to highlight that many of Reacher's extraordinary abilities are revealed in the books written by Lee Child and haven't been fully explored in the TV series, which explains why some viewers may not know the full extent of his capabilities. Let's analyze this scientifically. Reacher was hit by a .38 caliber bullet from an old gun, which would travel at approximately 600 feet per second. Normally, it would take one 4-inch thick steel, several layers of Kevlar, or inches of concrete to stop such a projectile. How is this possible in a human body? The explanation comes from his years digging pools in Florida. where he developed absolutely abnormal muscle density. Military scientists theorize that his muscle structure may have up to 40% more fibers per cubic centimeter than a normal human, more closely approaching the muscle density of primates like gorillas. Another notable aspect is his regenerative capacity. Reacher recovers from serious injuries in record time. After being stabbed or shot, he's often functional in days, when an ordinary person would take weeks or months. This suggests an accelerated immune system and healing capacity, possibly related to elevated levels of stem cells in bone marrow and growth factors in the blood. His strength? Confirmed reports in Lee Child's books indicate that Jack Reacher can bench press about 400 pounds without regular training. His grip strength is estimated at over 350 pounds, allowing him to crush bones with his bare hands. For context, the average grip strength of an adult man is approximately 100 pounds. As for pain resistance, Reacher exhibits an almost superhuman tolerance. He has endured multiple fractures, third-degree burns, and penetrating wounds while continuing to fight at full capacity. This suggests a possible anomaly in his pain receptors or abnormally elevated levels of endorphins. Combat skills. If Reacher's anatomy is extraordinary, his combat skills are truly legendary. Reacher doesn't follow a single fighting style, totally. He's a master of adaptation, incorporating techniques from various martial arts: Krav Maga, Aikido, Wing Chun, Kung Fu, Karate, Taekwondo, Hapkido, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, kickboxing, wrestling, and Muay Thai. But unlike John Wick, who follows an almost artistic choreography in his fights, Reacher is brutally pragmatic. He doesn't fight to impress, he fights to eliminate the threat as quickly as possible. As he himself says, "The other guy cares how he wins. I care about pissing on the other guy's grave." His preferred moves? Devastating headbutts, bone-breaking elbows, and groin kicks that instantly incapacitate. Reacher has no qualms about fighting dirty. He uses any available object as a weapon, from a coin to a fire hose. A fascinating curiosity. Reacher has an internal clock that allows him to know the exact time without consulting watches, a skill developed during night missions in the army. This chronometric precision translates into his combat reflexes, estimated to be 40% faster than the elite human average. In terms of shooting, Reacher is the only non-Marine to win the United States Marine Corps' 1-yard invitational rifle competition. His preference for the Beretta M9 demonstrates his pragmatism. He chooses reliability over stopping power. But what really separates Reacher from other lethal combatants like John Wick is his capacity for improvisation. While Wick depends on his arsenal and systematic training, Reacher can transform any environment into a deadly arena in his favor. Reports confirm that he once defeated 5 armed men using only a paperback book and a paper cup. Extraordinary mental capabilities. If you think Jack Reacher is just muscles and violence, you're completely mistaken. Reacher's true power is in his mind. Reacher possesses an estimated IQ between 140 and 160, and putting him in the genius category. Although his brother Joe is often portrayed as the brain of the family, Reacher possesses analytical capabilities that surpass even trained FBI investigators. His memory borders on eidetic. He can remember minute details of crime scenes, conversations, and documents after briefly observing them. In one documented case, Reacher was able to recite the serial number of a gun he saw for only 3 seconds, 2 weeks earlier. His mathematical ability is equally impressive. Reacher performs complex calculations mentally in seconds, including ballistics, shooting angles, and physics applied to combat. He can instantly calculate the trajectory of a bullet, considering wind, distance, and velocity. Linguistically, Reacher is fluent in French, maternal heritage, as well as Spanish, German, basic Portuguese, and even regional Afghan dialects, an invaluable skill during his military service. As a strategist, Reacher thinks several steps ahead of his adversaries. He can predict human behaviors with frightening accuracy, often anticipating criminals' actions even before they know what they'll do. A notable example was when he heard the details of a case someone else was working on and knew exactly where the suspect would go, revealing a deep understanding of criminal psychology. His ability to read people is almost supernatural. Reacher can detect lies through facial microexpressions and subtle changes in body language that would go unnoticed even by trained profilers. As an investigator, Reacher is unsurpassable. He commanded the 110th Investigation Unit of the Military Police, solving cases that baffled conventional investigators. His approach combines rigorous scientific analysis with almost paranormal intuition, a combination that makes him practically infallible. Perhaps most impressive is his situational adaptability. Reacher can escape from a military prison and rescue someone without help, tricks, or equipment, using only his intelligence and knowledge of security procedures. Reacher versus John Wick. Now, to the question that divides action fans worldwide. In a direct confrontation, who would win, Jack Reacher or John Wick? Let's analyze methodically. In physical terms, Reacher has a clear advantage. At 6'5" and 250 pounds of muscle, he significantly outmatches Wick, portrayed by Keanu Reeves at 6'1" and approximately 185 pounds. Reacher could absorb much more damage and possesses the brute force to end the combat with a single precise blow. In shooting skills, we have a technical tie. Both are elite shooters, capable of millimetric precision even under extreme stress. Wick might have a slight advantage in urban situations with multiple targets, while Reacher excels in long-distance shots in adverse conditions. In unarmed combat, Reacher has a considerable advantage. His combination of size, strength, and lethal military combat techniques would make him an opponent almost impossible to defeat in direct confrontation. In terms of arsenal, Wick has the advantage. As a professional assassin, he has access to specialized weaponry and a support network in the criminal underworld. Reacher generally operates with what he finds in the environment, rarely carrying his own weapons. In planning and strategy, Reacher has a significant advantage. His capacity for tactical analysis, military experience, and thinking several steps ahead would surpass even Wick's impressive skills. In resilience, Reacher is practically superhuman. He survived a chest shot without armor and continued fighting after injuries that would incapacitate any normal person. Wick, although extraordinarily resilient by normal standards, doesn't demonstrate the same level of anatomical resistance. Conclusion? It depends on the scenario. In a casual encounter without preparation, Reacher would win through his superior improvisational capacity and physical advantage. In a planned assassination, Wick would have greater chances due to his specialized training. But here's the fundamental difference. John Wick is an exceptional assassin who needs tools to execute his work. Jack Reacher is the tool, a living weapon, a born predator who needs nothing besides himself to be lethal. Is Reacher immortal? An intriguing question persists about Jack Reacher. Is he really immortal? Of course, we're not talking about literal immortality like vampires or mythological beings. We're analyzing a possible extraordinary medical condition that gives Reacher an almost superhuman resilience. Let's look at the facts. Reacher has survived a direct chest shot without armor, multiple falls from heights that would be fatal for ordinary people, explosions that killed people near him, drowning, beatings, and prolonged torture, exposure to extreme conditions without adequate equipment. Military medicine specialists theorize three possibilities to explain this extraordinary resistance. First, a rare genetic condition that increases bone and muscle density significantly beyond normal human standards. People with this condition have virtually unbreakable bones and internal organs protected by exceptionally dense muscle layers. Second, anomalies in the central nervous system that alter pain perception and autonomic response to injuries. This would allow Reacher to maintain full function even with damage that would induce shock in normal people. Third, an accelerated metabolism and extraordinary immune system that allows extremely rapid recovery. More abundant and efficient stem cells would explain how Reacher recovers from serious injuries in days, not weeks. What we know for certain is that during his years of military service, Reacher was subjected to complete medical examinations that revealed anomalies that left Army doctors perplexed. His results were classified at the highest level, suggesting significant discoveries. An intriguing theory proposes that Reacher may be the result of rare genes preserved through generations of fighters. His French mother, whose family survived 2 world wars, and his military father may have contributed exceptional genetic characteristics that expressed perfectly in Reacher. Immortal? No. But Jack Reacher possibly represents the extreme limit of human physical potential, a unique set of genetic and physiological adaptations that make him the perfect alpha predator in any combat scenario. Conclusion: Jack Reacher remains one of the most fascinating characters in modern fiction precisely because he exists on the delicate border between the possible and the impossible. He doesn't possess superpowers in the traditional sense. He doesn't fly, doesn't have X-ray vision, doesn't shoot webs. And yet, his physical and mental capabilities are so extraordinary that they border on the supernatural. It's important to note that many of these extraordinary characteristics are more deeply explored in the 26 books of the series written by Lee Child, and the adaptation for TV on Amazon Prime captures only part of this complexity. Fans who know Reacher only from the series are seeing just the tip of the iceberg of this fascinating character. Perhaps Reacher's true superpower is his absolute freedom. No ties, no possessions, no fear. He lives completely on his own terms, a nomadic existence that allows him to always be where he's needed. His morality is equally fascinating, an inflexible personal code of ethics in a world of flexible morality. Reacher operates outside the conventional limits of the law, but always guided by an unchanging sense of justice. As his mother taught him, never reject your strength, use it to do what's right. And perhaps this is the true anatomy of Jack Reacher that matters, not just his extraordinary muscles or his exceptional intellect, but his iron will, an unshakable determination that, when combined with his physical and mental abilities, makes him truly unmatched. So, what do you think? Would Jack Reacher defeat John Wick in a direct confrontation? Or would the Baba Yaga find a way to overcome the giant? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, leave suggestions for other characters you'd like to see analyzed in future editions. A hug, and until the next video,